So why are my canning jars not sealing? It can be really frustrating when you can't figure out why. Hi there, my name is Sharon Peterson and I am with simplycanning.com, where you can find home canning food tutorials, advice, and online classes. Please join me there and I will help you get your pantry filled. So we are doing a series of videos on why your canning jars might not seal, because there's a lot of different reasons. So today I'm going to talk about the jars themselves and issues that you might have and things to watch for. So the first thing I would say to watch for always is whether you have chips or nicks in the rim of the jar. And the easiest way to check is just run your finger around it and you're gonna feel it, because you might look and think, oh, that looks fine, but there's a tiny little chip in there that you just didn't notice. This is especially important if you are purchasing used jars, like from a rummage sale or from an auction or something like that. Probably 90% of my jars are secondhand. It's just less expensive to find them that way. Although these days, jars are pretty tough to find, depending on when you're watching this video. But, and then even your own jars, even if you buy them new, be sure and check them. And then when you pull them out each year, if they've been stored away empty, be sure and check that rim of the jar to make sure that it's not chipped or nicked. Second reason that you might have issues is as you're canning and you're filling your jar, you use a canning funnel, but you know that doesn't always catch, and that keeps it cleaner, but that doesn't always catch everything. And so after you have filled your jar with the food, always make sure you wipe the rim of your jar with either a paper towel that's been dipped in hot water. You can use some kind of a lint-free cloth, that works too. Make sure that that rim is clean, and the reason is these canning lids have a rubber seal inside that rim, and that seal needs to have direct contact with the jar. So if you've got a little piece of food here that you know, it's going to interfere with that seal. If you're canning meat or something, you know, meat or broth or soup, something that's greasy, that grease might even interfere with the seal. I have read, and I never do this, I always just use hot water, but I've read people use a little bit of vinegar on their cloth to wipe off the rim if they have something greasy, just because they feel like it gets more clean, and that's always a good thing. Nothing wrong with that, so that is a helpful thing. One other reason that sometimes people will have canning jars not seal is they're using non-standard jars. So jars come in two standard sizes as far as the mouth opening. Now obviously this is two different sizes of jars, but if you'll notice, this one is wider than this one. So we've got a wide mouth and a regular mouth. Sometimes people will want to use recycled jars, like, you know, old pickle jars, old mayonnaise jars, and I will link to a page that I talk more about that. Standard jars are always best, but if you have mayonnaise jars or pickle jars, sometimes they're not exactly the same, and it may seem like this lid is really fitting well, but it might be just a little bit off. Or those jars tend to be thinner than a standard canning jar, and so obviously if there's just a less surface area to attach to the lid, then it's going to be a little bit of a weaker seal, and so that might be another reason of why your canning jar didn't seal if you use those non-standard jars. So be sure to check the rims, make sure there's no food or residue on there, and then standard jars are always best. You can use recycled. I'm of the opinion that for a water bath, when that's all you have, then you could go ahead and use them. But standard canning jars are always best. That is all the jar reasons for why you might have seal failure in your canning jars. So the next video, I'm going to go more over the lids and what the issues might be there. So be sure and join me in that chat. And I hope this is helpful. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. Again, this is Sharon with simplycanning.com. You have a great day, and I'll see you next time.